session, and we believe that we're going to have a very good time today. Thank you for everyone that shared this link and invited your friends, your colleagues, and for every business owner right here. We recognize your presence. Thank you for joining us in this session. This is one of our first webinar series at All Talents, and subsequently it becomes a monthly engagement from our end because we're going to be sharing a lot of knowledge on different topics. And I will also still talk about why we chose this topic. But welcome once again to this session. We appreciate your presence. Thank you for joining us through this. And the title for the webinar today is Closing Digital Sales Leads. We realize that a whole lot of business owners, one of the key lifeblood of every business is sales. People want to make sure that sales is coming in, they're getting the right clients, business is flowing, which makes everybody happy at the end of the day. But when it comes to digital marketing, we notice that there's a lot of huge knowledge gap in that space. Business owners are struggling to close leads that come from digital marketing. As an organization, we provide outsourcing services, and we also provide agency services within the digital marketing space. How can we help business? So today we're here to discuss how we can help business owners to close their digital sales lead. My name is Michael Moser. I am the Business and Digital Solutions Director at All Talent LLC. I'm delighted to be your moderator today, and I'll be taking you on this journey or hosting you in this session alongside our very experienced guest speakers today. I'll introduce them shortly. So before we dive into today's session or today's discussion, it's going to be a very interesting one. So sit tight and get ready for it. And I would want to talk about some few housekeeping rules just to make sure that things run as smoothly as we've planned it. First of all, this session will be recorded. And if you don't mind, we're going to be recording this session. So all the information, even the presentation shared will be recorded. The chat, even what we put on the chat box would also go along with the recording. So everything we're going to be sharing here, everything we should be putting together in this webinar, it's going to be very professional. So we just wanted to let you know and also to get your consent before we start, before we go into the webinar proper. So at the end of this webinar itself, the content recorded from this session would also be shared with our invited guests and everyone that is here today, or everyone that registered for the webinar. So we'll also share the recordings for anyone that would like to replay this webinar. It's also something that people might want to fall back to or consult back in any time in the future. We're also going to be having two sessions. With the sessions will be broken down into two segments. So the first segment, we'll talk about digital marketing as an overall. And the second session will be where we'll discuss how to close your digital sales lead itself. So that's going to be the second session. Then we would now wrap up with question and answers or any contribution from anyone within the audience. I have my other colleagues here. If you have any challenges, I have my colleague Abiola and also Abibat. They are our digital marketing specialist also within this meeting. If you have any technical issues, please feel free to just chat them up or let them know within the chat section. They will be looking at the chat box if there is anybody facing any difficulty, or if anybody has any comment or questions, they will alert the moderator and would address that. But if you have any technical issues, please use the chat features and our support team. Abiola is on standby and Abiba, they're on standby to help you out with any issues you might have in the course of the presentation. Also, we also encourage everyone to participate freely during the question and answer session. If you have any comments or any useful thoughts or insights, please use the chat function to share that. But keep your comments respectful and relevant to the topic of conversation today. We just want to stick to the business of the day and not anything that will distract us out of the conversation. Once again, we welcome everyone to the webinar. It's going to be a very, very interesting one. I can see a whole lot of participation So far, we had a lot of people registered, about over 50 people registered for the webinar. And we're already seeing more than half of that already present within the session today. So let's get straight into the business of the day, and we'll take you on this journey. So today we are honored to have two expert speakers who will do justice to this webinar topic. If you are just joining us, this webinar is about closing digital sales lead. The very interesting one, is the first of its kind that we've done at All Talents. And like I said earlier on, we are going to be having this monthly webinar series on a monthly basis, sharing knowledge on different areas that affect businesses, and how we can provide solutions or provide support to the businesses. All right. So today we are honored to have two expert speakers in the house who will do justice to this topic of the webinar. First on my list, we have Mr. Samuel Akingbade. Samuel Akingbade is our head of marketing at one of our companies called SaveWise, and he's also a certified digital marketing, Google certified digital marketing specialist. He has over 12 years of experience within the marketing industry, locally and internationally. He's going to be taking us on a session, and he would share a whole lot of insights while he's talking. Our second speaker for the day is Mr. Sadiq Isu. Sadiq Isu is a CEO and founder of All Talents, a very visionary and a relentless serial entrepreneur. Is somebody known within the restoration industry, and he has vast years of experience and insight, and he's also a business owner playing in this space, in the restoration space. So he's going to be sharing a whole lot of valuable insight in the second session of the webinar. Now, those are our two speakers for today. If you have questions or comments, please, there's a question and answer feature within the webinar, and we also have the chat box. You can just drop your comments or your chats within the chat space. So thank you everyone once again for joining. I would want to welcome our first speaker for today. His name is Mr. Samuel Akingbade. He's going to be taking us on closing digital marketing sales lead. He's going to take us on the first aspect, giving us a very good overview of digital marketing. Mr. Samuel Akingbade, thank you for joining us. So I'll hand over to you. You can go ahead and share your screen and talk about your part of the presentation.
All right. Thank you, Michael. No, I won't have to share my screen. I will just work with what we have. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, and thanks everyone for making this webinar. I understand that we are all busy people, so we'll just try to be as concise as possible, and also respect your time. So yeah, so just a general introduction, right, and overview of the digital marketing, because I think, in my humble opinion, that if you are, I feel like if you are in this industry, the mitigation industry, or in fact any industry for that matter, digital marketing is very, very key for your marketing efforts. In as much as, some people would like to do a mix of digital and traditional, or just the whole 360 route. Some people might just want to focus on digital marketing because it might just be cost effective for what they want to do. And we could be looking at the different aspects of digital marketing, and how it can fit into your matrix of solutions that you want to do. For some, it's social media and strictly social media. For others, it's, how do I increase my presence online and have a kick-ass SEO? For others, it's, you actually pay for PPC, that's pay per click, in order for people to be able to see where you rank online when they search for things, and then go directly to your services, either through calls or through clicks of ads that they've seen. Some others may want to use influencer marketing, YouTube and the likes. But again, it all depends on the matrix of how you want to mix and match these things for the kind of industry that you are, or the kind of location, or what is peculiar to the kind of audience that you're trying to target. So as a result, now, how is this peculiar to, say, the mitigation industry, that is digital marketing? And it is quite peculiar because imagine if someone comes home from a hard day's work and realizes that, his basement is flooded, and probably it's up to the first level, down and pouring out the garage and out onto the streets. What's the first thing that comes to that person's mind? This is an emergency, and I want someone to help me. Now, if you're looking at strictly based on traditional, that is, your business is focused on traditional marketing, that person might not actually find you, because the next thing he's going to do is he's going to take out his phone, go on Google and look for the nearest or closest water mitigation service that is closest to him or her, and that's the person that is going to call. Now, if you are on a traditional, or what's it called, trying traditional marketing methods, you'll probably be on maybe the yellow pages. The person might not even think of that, having to go through that kind of list, or thinking of an ad that he saw in a newspaper. He's not going to go start looking for that newspaper, or drive out onto the freeway to look for one billboard where you had put your adverts and your phone number. He's just going to go online and try to get, someone that can help him right there and right at that point where he thinks he has an emergency. And that's one of the advantages of digital marketing, is that people will seek out what you have to offer, and then they will find out exactly what you need. So basically, you are trying to reach the people that actually need your services. You're not just casting out a wide net, to cover a lot of things. Imagine you want maybe catfish or bass, and then you now have to drive to a lake, a freshwater lake, and start fishing. You cast your net and you get all different kinds of fish, not necessarily what you want. That's how traditional marketing is. But digital marketing is much more focused and much more personalized to the audience that you need. So basically, you just take out your phone, go to an online store, get what you need, and it gets delivered to you. That is straight, that is direct, that is focused. So it's way cheaper and easier to actually have presence online, because that is going to help boost your sales down the line. And you can see that the differences between traditional and digital has always been that, yes, traditional might have the kind of reach where maybe you are on a national syndicate network like TV, but at the same time, it comes with huge costs. With a fraction of that cost, you can actually just directly market to the people that actually need your services, which is more cost effective and which actually helps you. You can actually measure how well your campaign is doing and how your results are actually going to work out for you. And again, most importantly, at the end of the day, it's all about the cost. How cost effective is it? How am I matching my ROI to what I'm spending for marketing? So you can see that there's a lot of other things besides that. Just, things like targeted audience reach, real-time engagements that you can also have, via platforms like social media, where you actually engage with your community, and also on even professional networks like LinkedIn, where you can be a thought leader, such that when people need these services, whether through emergencies or through research, they actually know who to reach out to and how it can help them. Now, if we're going to be moving on to the kind of toolbox that we have for digital marketing, especially for mitigation in industry, I would like to actually, kind of describe this using the marketing funnel. And don't worry, I know Sadiq is going to go into detail, when he takes up his own session regarding how to close leads. But the marketing funnel, basically, we have awareness, consideration, conversion, delight, right? At the awareness stage, it's very critical as a business, right, that people actually see you online where they go, because that is going to help you to be able to reach the people that actually need you. Now, in our toolbox that we use, we have things like Google Local Services, Google My Business. You can also use local listings. You can use social media marketing, content marketing, or blog marketing, and things like email marketing as well. Now, in awareness, someone that needs a service, right, goes online. And again, I just have to also note that there are usually two kinds of leads: the marketing qualified leads and the sales qualified leads. Now, most of the people that you will want are the sales qualified leads, because these are the people that actually are looking to make a decision to use your service, right? A marketing qualified lead is probably still doing some research. Now, Those are two kinds of qualified leads. You also have another one that is an unqualified lead, someone that calls your business from an ad and is looking for a job or is not within your geographical location. I know people that you just would regard as maybe time wasters. But at the end of the day, what you need are the sales qualified leads and the marketing qualified leads. And these are people that you can get, especially from the awareness stage. And now, what do I mean by this? Imagine you're using a service like Google Guaranteed, which is a product under Google Local Services, right? Where you are actually registered. Now, I have an emergency and I go and search for, say, water mitigation in my area. And then I see a list of Google Guaranteed, what's it called? I would say ads as a where. And I see a company that's based on their profile is 3 decades of experience, an average rating of 4.85 on Google Guaranteed, with over 7K reviews. Chances are, in that kind of situation, I would want to call them. And that's because they've also made sure that they are available online by signing up for such a service. And such a service gives them visibility. And most importantly, a service like Google Local Services or Google Guaranteed will ensure that you get sales qualified leads, people that actually want to make a decision and want to reach out to you to be able to help with their issues. Now, from our own experience, right? Because we have a digital marketing team that we offer services for businesses like yours, both small and medium size, what's it called, businesses, to be able to help them get revenue online, to be able to get people to actually get calls and get jobs that can actually convert. Now, from our experience, we've also realized that yes, it seems like maybe 70% of the people that actually call might be market qualified leads. So people that are doing research, people that want to get value for their money, or people that want to pay out of pocket, or people that are just trying to see what they can do, whether it's tips for DIY. Everyone is trying to save money these days, and you can see that with the kind of content that you actually create on digital through your digital marketing efforts, you can actually reach each and every one of these people. Now, someone is doing research, hasn't yet made up his or her mind that they want to actually use your service. So they call you up and they are asking questions about a particular kind of problem that they have and how you think that can be solved. Uh, at the end of the day, it's still a lead that has to be converted, that has to be closed. And it's up to you or your marketing team that picks up that phone to ensure that, what, hi, someone calls and says, oh, I'm looking for, let me just use an example. Is this Self-Pro? And you are Puriclean. And you say no, and then you drop the call. You've just lost a potential customer, right? And it has to do with and now just you also have to know that some people actually do these things where they actually call different people that they see online just to try and get which one gives them the best feedback that they are looking for and perhaps the best cost estimates as well. So all these things are actually things that will help in terms of having a presence online. Now, from awareness to consideration, and consideration is also very key. Again, like I've said, more than 70% of the kind of leads or people that will call your business are people that are looking for the best fit for what they want to do. And as a result, when these people are calling you, there are some things that they are looking out for. For example, I have an emergency, and it states online that you're a 24/7 business. So I call you, and then I'm getting an answering machine. Naturally, I will just cut the call. So that's 4 to 5 seconds. Uh, where that call is gonna last because I hear an answering machine, and I just drop the call, and then I move on to the next person. And we have cases like this because these are the kind of things that we have experienced where our digital marketers tell us, yeah, we get about 7 to 10 calls a week, and we realize that maybe just one or none of them get converted, even though some of them are actually qualified leads, right? And this is a major issue. And I'll be speaking about some other what's it called tools that we can actually use to be able to help. Now, these tools really just help you for awareness. So Sadiq is going to actually take you through how, after the awareness stage and people have considered and people have actually chosen to call your business, how you will actually, move from, oh, this person is actually trying to, either looking for opinions or trying to do some research or just wants or has an emergency and needs something to get done. How do I actually now take this person and ensure that uh, whatever amount I'm thinking this kind of job that this person is describing is, how do I get it for my business, right? And that is what is actually very, very important here. And another tool is Google My Business. Google My Business, I think that is even a no-brainer. Even if you're not going to be using things like Google Local Services, but at least have a business profile on Google, right? Where you'll be able to put your business name, you'll be able to put photos and videos, and these photos and videos will have to have things like even alt text descriptions that are very, very descriptive. Again, you also have to know that we are in an era where AI has come into play, and where even things like voice search is very, very key these days. So when you have adequate description of the things that you're putting on your business profile pages, it really, really helps your business to be able to get to that point where voice search works, uh even text search works for you based on the keywords that people are actually trying to look for or searching for online, right? So yeah, thank you, Michael, for this slide. So AI is actually infused into a lot of the things that we are doing, right? Because even the Google networks, right, that we use for most of these adverts, for this our online adverts, they actually have what's it called now? Integrated AI such that targeting is now hyper personalized to the point that it is those that actually do need your services that you get to reach out to. Now, for those of us that have a suite where, oh, we want to run these things by ourselves, we are running social media accounts, you can actually, create and generate images for social media through AI. You can actually create captions and even blog posts that will help those and blog posts actually do help those that are actively doing research or are in a consideration phase online, because I have a flooded basement and I want to chip out and not call an expert, but I might want to just search online for how do I actually dry out my basement. And then they go online and they see an article or a blog post from your business where you've actually outlined how they can do it. But of course, you being a professional would also, put in tips that will help them, at the end of the day, have to call you anyway to come and do a professional job, because when by the time they read and see what it entails to be able to get this done, then they know, oh, this is not a small DIY project. I actually have to reach out to these guys for them to actually come out to come and help me. So that is another aspect of content marketing that can actually help, and AI can actually help you generate content like that. And it's actually mostly always free. Again, Canva to help you with designs, Gemini and ChatGPT as well, and then performance max campaigns on what's it called, with Google PPC. It's quite amazing what happens and how many leads these things actually help you get on a daily and weekly basis. Again, as long as you have a matching budget to match your expectations and your ROI. Um, so I don't want to just keep rambling on and on and on and on. I will just at this juncture, hand over to Sadiq, who is going to actually go into detail as to uh, how do you actually close these what's it called, leads that you actually get into your business, because that is very key to ensure that you have the ROI that you need, given that you're putting a lot of money into marketing efforts. And for those of us that are not putting in money into marketing efforts, I mean, this is a call for you to be able to actually see that it's a worthwhile investment. Because if you are spending, say, $200 per lead, and you're able to close your lead, and your lead is able to give you or generate revenue of an average of around $5,000, I think that is worth it, than just not spending any money and wondering why some things are moving slowly, because you're just doing things like just social media and blog marketing. Again, paid advertising always helps, because it gives you that reach and that awareness for your business to be able to even get you onto the level playing field where you can actually compete with other people who have more years of experience than you and who are highly rated online as well. Again, it's like a battlefield out there. So you really, really have to, play your cards right, and know how you want to, maximize that budget that you have, see how it works, and then ensure that you make sure that you don't lose any lead whatsoever that comes into your business. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Samuel, for that insightful presentation. We really appreciate the insight you gave us. And if you just join us, this is closing digital marketing sales or digital sales lead. Samuel has given us a quick overview about digital marketing. So first talking about digital marketing, just a quick summary of what we just heard now. First talked about digital marketing from an overview perspective, comparing digital marketing with traditional marketing, like for like, from a reach, feature, targeting, measurement, and also from a cost perspective. He also highlighted a whole lot of features around the digital marketing toolbox. What are the tools out there? Talked about Google My Business, Google local services, Google local listing, or any listing services that the business can subscribe to. Social media, which is something very popular that we all know about, search engine optimization. Then he also talked about digital marketing in today's world. What are the new tools out there, the new kids in the block? ChatGPT, Copilot, Canva, Gemini, voice search, image search. So a whole lot of things are changing the game in digital marketing, and how can we be kept abreast with some of the new innovation in the space, and what do we need to do as business owners or business leaders? And we'll go next to the next section, which is beyond the click. How do you actually go ahead and close the lead? You've used all these tools, you've generated the leads, you've used social media, search engines, and all of that. All of that work has been done by your digital marketer. How do you, this is like the crux of the matter now. How do you go ahead and close the lead? And I would like to introduce Sadiq Isu once again, as the CEO and founder of All Talents LLC. He's a serial business owner, over a decade of years in marketing, and also running several businesses. So please join me as I welcome Sadiq Isu as he takes us on the next stage of the presentation.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, depending on wherever it is in the world that you're in. My name is Sadiq Isu, and thank you very much for the introduction, Michael, and also thank you a lot, Samuel Akingbade, for the presentation as well. So for those of you that know my office, you would know that digital marketing it's my go-to strategy for business development, basically. I would say this, I say it all the time, and I would say it again. 90% of my business is actually generated through digital marketing. And it's because of the intention behind it and the kind of effort that we put into it on a daily basis. And the problem is this: prior to now, I actually take digital marketing class and just show people some of the things they can do on the digital space in order for them to be able to grow their business. But a lot has changed recently. Google algorithm keeps changing very, very fast. It changes on a very, very fast pace. And if you're not able to keep up with that algorithm, before you know, you'll be left behind. I think they actually just provided an update about 2 weeks ago, very recently, about a new kind of, algorithm that we all have to learn and have to deal with on a daily basis. So if you're not very intentional about it, before you know it, you're going to be left behind. And there are the introductions of the new tools now. You can actually go ahead and do your research. Over 72% of people that are searching right now on the internet are actually not typing anymore. They are actually using voice search. So Google, Cortana, there is Siri, and then there is Alexa. So this voice search is becoming a household thing now. And according to the search engine plans, in the next 5 years, you would hardly see anyone actually using the Google type to search for anything in the next 5 years. Everyone is actually going to go into either using an AI or using the voice search tool, because that's the new thing now. And in today's world, people are actually doing it now. People are actually telling Google, call the nearest water damage mitigation company close to me, and they actually even put, like, note of what their expectations are. Please search by rating, I want somebody that is not less than 4.8 stars and, that have been in your business for XYZ. And before you know, your chat engine would actually do the call. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about how we can actually close sales. So if I can, I will just share my screen and then we'll go ahead and talk about this. Okay, so this is what a lot of people don't know. There are different conversion phases when it comes to digital marketing. So there is the PPC, which Michael and Samuel talked about a few minutes ago. PPC is paid per click. That is what happens when someone actually goes through the profile and decide that out of everybody here, I want to click on this particular organization. And then they click. Now, that is a series of conversion that, okay, when I did my search, I had over 50 organizations pop up. And out of these 50 organizations, I chose this one. And then they click. Now, there is also the second phase. After the clicking, there are a series of clicks that would happen before there is a conversion. Now, that main conversion is what you actually calculate is called cost per conversion, which is the series of the number of people that have clicked on your organization and eventually you were able to get somebody to call your office. Now that results into cost per conversion. This is what we've seen in the industry. An average cost per conversion in the industry is actually from $200 to $260. Now we've seen some remarkable all-talent employees actually reduce that cost per conversion very drastically, and I really, really applaud those guys that are able to accomplish that. I wasn't able to do it in my time. I was only able to do from $200 to $260 cost per conversion. It's expensive, but then an average water job on Google, okay, an average water job on Google, it's going to be about $5,500, at least in my office. Now the challenge is this. An average TPA job, it's about 3,000 to 3,500. So what that means is if that same program goes through a TPA, after all the SLAs and all those things that you put into consideration, you would see that the average cost actually goes down because you have to abide by the SLAs put together by the insurance company. But if you do Google job, you're only focused on the IICRC standard. And because of that, your cost per conversion goes, your average cost per job actually goes up, maybe on a water damage. So if you spend about $250 in this situation to be able to convert that cost, then it becomes a good win. But this is the mistake that a lot of people make. That is the initial cost per conversion for your phone to ring, for somebody to call your phone. The challenge is this. If the person that is taking that call does not put so many things into perspective, including customers' emotions, including the way a call is being answered, including so many other factors that we'll be talking about, the chances of you losing that call is high. And at the end of the day, you just lost that call. So you just immediately lost about $250 in that situation. Now, let's now assume that the person that actually took the call, which in this situation is the contact in the office, so we'd expect the office manager to immediately start building a relationship from that call in order for us to be able to get that call. And we'll talk about each of this scenario. And please, my session is going to be interactive. I want my session to be interactive as much as possible. I'm just going to give you an overview, and then we move into questions and make it very interactive. So the person at the desk answers the call and then is able to convince the customer and let the customer know that, okay, we're here, we're available, we're coming out, we'll be able to get you taken care of. Now, that's another phase of conversion. The final conversion is when an inspector or a project manager or the business owner, whoever goes out to inspect the job, goes out to inspect the job and still able to convert that sale. Those are the phases of conversion that you go through in the restoration industry, most especially when you're actually doing digital marketing. However, if you weren't doing digital marketing and maybe you were just doing, traditional marketing, or sales, basically. I don't know why we call it marketing. It's sales when it's door to door, right? Sales when you talk to agents, or when it comes in from a TPA. When it comes from a TPA, it's a direct sale. You get a call, they say, oh, this customer have a water damage. You go out there, your expectation is I'm going there to start. You're not selling anything. But the SLA is also there to reduce what your overall average cost would be on that particular job, as against when it comes in from your digital marketing effort. But then there are hoops that you have to follow in order for you to also be able to win that job at the end of the day. So these are the painted scenario. The customer calls, the office manager answers the call. My name is, good afternoon. My name is this, I work with this organization. How can I help you today? And the customer starts with, oh, I have a water damage in my home. And the person at the desk keeps asking additional questions just to be able to qualify this customer. Okay, I'm sorry to hear about the water damage. What exactly happened? What pipe busted? What just understanding the scenario and the situation. And then it paints the picture and everything is fine. And then I have seen an office manager say, oh, I'm sorry, we won't be able to come out because it's still an active leak. Would you be able to get a plumber to come out to help you take care of the leak first? As soon as that is done, then we can come out to take care of the water damage. Your chance of getting a call back from that customer just dropped to 50%. The reason for that is we have seen that a lot of people actually depends on plumber now for marketing. So people actually sell to plumbing companies, and there are kickbacks to different plumbing companies to refer jobs to your organization. Absolutely, there is nothing wrong with that. I mean, within 20-mile radius of my office, we have over 120 restoration company within 20-mile radius of my office. What that means is everyone, it's like a means to an end for everybody. You're always just trying to make sure that you're the one that gets that sale or gets that lead at the end of the day. So somebody, you tell someone, oh, go ahead and look for a plumber, give a plumber a call. Number one, again, 50% of you winning that job, you just lost it. Number two, a customer calls and the customer starts asking questions, or you start asking, the qualifier starts asking questions such as, oh, have you filed a claim? Please note, the moment you start talking about claims, there is a reaction that you always get from a customer. And before you start asking questions concerning if a claim has been filed, it's fair for you to really, really understand that you and the customer have been in a good rapport at that point, and you can start asking questions regarding claim file. If a customer says, I have not filed a claim, and the person in the office tells the customer, oh, go ahead, file a claim, give us a call back and once we have the claim number, we will dispatch someone out. Number two, you just lost 50% of that job. Because the moment, think about it, over 70% of the insurance companies we have today already have a TPA that they have signed up with. If they don't have a TPA that are signed up with, they have a company that handles their reviewing. And so once you take that call and you tell the customer, go ahead and file a claim, and the customer decides to file a claim, guess what box that jumps in? It jumps into the hands of the TPA, because once a claim is filed, a portal is open between the insurance company and the TPA. It could be the corporate entity, or if it's a franchise organization. And it could also be a TPA such as maybe Alacrity, Contractor Connections, AccuServe, any of these guys. And once it gets there, they take it and then they assign that job to the nearest organization. That might not even be your organization. So you've lost that job as well. Now, and number three, the customer calls and the person in the office or the office manager, or whoever takes the call, doesn't have empathy, is rude to the customer, doesn't really know what the customer is going through, you've lost that job. So what that is it means that from the angle of us taking a call down to heading out to that customer's place, every single person needs to understand the sales funnel and to understand how to close the customer from the moment a call comes in. I tell everybody in the office, including the technicians, that you are a salesperson. If you're not everybody on earth is actually positioned as a salesperson. You can sell anything. If you go to a job interview, you're interviewing with multiple other people, you're selling yourself in order for you to be able to get that job. So apparently at that point, you are a salesperson at that point. Anything you do, I mean, think about it. Anything you do that positions you or that expects you to be chosen over someone else, it's you selling yourself, same as every organization or business that you work in. Now, number 4 is this person is not rude, but this person doesn't understand the industry. 50%, you've just lost another 50% of you getting that job. If a customer calls, majority of the time, the customer is looking for someone who, number 1, wants to empathize with them, and then number 2, who wants to give them an overview of what is going on. A call comes in and the customer is beginning to ask questions. Oh, it's a sewage backup. What are the things that I should do? Imagine the person that answers the call, the qualifier says something like, I don't know, somebody is going to come out and tell you exactly what to do. The customer's reaction changes immediately that, I thought you should at least help me out here. But the difference there is if you take a call and then you're able to explain to a customer that sewage backflow, it's not a good thing to play with, unfortunately. Please don't go close to it because, this is the community sewage backed up into your house. You want to stay away from it. You want to shut the door. You want to prevent additional microbial growth. Situations like this is an emergency situation. We would deploy and get somebody to your house as fast as possible so we can get you taken care of. The customer senses empathy, the customer senses urgency, and the customer senses knowledge. Once a customer starts sensing all these things, it gives them the determination to know that, okay, this organization that I am calling, they've made me feel as if I am in safe hands. Now, from there, we move over from that very first intake and we have moved into property inspection. There are several tools that different organizations would use. In my office, we have a tool that we can use that as soon as a call comes in, as soon as a call comes in, the office admin takes that call and puts that call into the software that we use. The software actually identifies to say, okay, the person that is going out on this inspection today is Michael. It takes a picture of Michael, sends it as an SMS to the customer to say, Michael is going to be coming out for inspection. And it sends a GPS tracker to the customer as well. So the customer can actually seize Michael's route and really know that Michael is on his way. This is what it does. If you've ever experienced such situation before, you will notice that it actually gives you peace of mind when you know help is on the way. Now, the customer is saying that Michael is on the way. Now, in my office, the moment we tell you, so as soon as the call comes in, if the office manager tells you, we will be out there within 2 to 4 hours. However, you will get a call from our project manager as soon as somebody is en route. The project manager calls the customer and says, I'm 30 minutes away. I'll be in your house in 30 minutes. The good thing is you're keeping the customer involved, you're keeping the customer engaged, and most importantly, you're keeping the customer active. So the customer knows that somebody is on the way. The customer is able to track. The customer knows who is coming, and the customer knows the exact time that person is going to be at that house. It gives that customer that sense of this company is interested. This company is coming to help me. I should get help as soon as possible. Now, going back to the scenario of the office admin that is taking the call, an office admin takes a call and after qualifying the customer, identifies that this is still an active leak. My recommendation would be for the office manager to say, this is still an active leak. The very first thing we're going to do is to get a plumber to your house. I'm going to send a list of plumber over to you, or we have a plumber that we can actually send to you. Which would you prefer? Majority of the time, the customer is in a dire situation. They will tell you, oh, please go ahead and send a plumber. We have a list of plumbers in our office. We give the plumber a call and say, hey, we have a job for you. We want you to go out there and get started to take care of this. Now, the customer knows that the plumber is on their way. When a plumber is on their way, the customer have peace of mind. Okay? Now, the second one we talked about before the plumber is, have you filed a claim? Once a customer says, I have not filed a claim yet, in my office, our recommendation is, okay, that's okay. You don't have to file a claim right now. In fact, I will recommend that you do not file a claim yet. The reason why is we could get to your house now. The claim costs or the cost of the restoration or mitigation might be lower than your deductible. In that situation, if you've already filed a claim, the possibility of your premium going up increases. So let's come out there, take a look at it, and we would let you know if you should file a claim. 9 out of 10, the customer is going to file a claim, but you're already there. And this is what I do once I get to that job. I take my phone and I call the I ask the customer, do you have a policy number? If the customer says, I don't even know where it is, I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to call the insurance company and we'll get a claim started. I call the insurance company and I introduce myself. My name is Sadiq Isu. I am with this organization. I am here today just to be able to assist the insured with the water damage that has occurred. I got here, but a claim has not been filed. I'm going to hand my phone over to the customer. The customer is going to file a claim. And we're already here. We have equipment out there. We're getting the job started. We just want to put you in the know. The moment you say that, it means that the insurance company does not or should not send that claim to a TPA. Now, please note, even though the insurance company is recommending or providing a TPA, it's based on a recommendation basis. We have an organization that we have a relationship with. They would come out and take care of your loss. However, majority of the time, when you handle the call, there is already help there. So you're already letting the customer know that we're already here. You're letting the insurance company know that we're already here. We're going to take care of this customer. So they are not going to be dispatching anyone. And even if they will, you're already a preferred vendor to them, maybe because you already belong to an existing TPA that they would have sent it to in the first place, but you're already there. So they don't have a choice but for you to go ahead and get started with that particular job. And that eases the situation as well. So these are two critical phases that you've seen that we've been able to identify from when a call comes in to when you get out to the job site. Now, prior to now, when I get out to the job site, I always recommend every of the PMs, go with your laptop computers. In fact, we actually have a laptop stand. Go with your laptop computers, give the estimate while you're there. But the problem that we experience is over time, our project managers get so busy and then it's taking them too long for them to get the estimates ready. So what we've done now is this. We have our outsourced people that are writing the estimate remotely. And then we have a PM. What we do is for every job, we assign one PM, one project manager, and one estimator to the job. As soon as the project manager gets out to the job, the project manager is already typing a scope using, any of the CRM tools to make sure that the photos and all the information is getting out to the estimator immediately. The estimator is in real time writing the estimate for that particular job. As soon as the estimate is written, you ask the customer, there is nothing wrong in asking for the sale, for the job. There is nothing wrong. If at all, it's the best way to be able to close is to ask for sale. Hi, ma'am, this is our service authorization. I'm going to give this to you for you to sign. This allows us to get started. The customer says, well, I don't know. I'm still shopping around for prices. Do I have an estimate from you? 9 out of 10, majority of the other companies that have come in will tell the customer the same thing. It's okay. Don't worry. As soon as, maybe within the next 4 hours, 8 hours, or within the next 24 hours, you will get an estimate. We don't do that in our office. You get the estimate ASAP. That estimate is ready, and all you just need to do is to go ahead and fill out the form and then get the estimate submitted to the customer. Once the customer sees the estimate, it gives them that willingness to tell you to go ahead and get started. Now, the customer could say, well, I'm shopping around. I just want to compare prices. That's when you start educating the customers about what you know and how you are the best person that will be able to take care of that job. And most importantly, letting the customer know that we all use exactly the same pricing software in the entire industry. So whatever pricing you're going to get is very similar. Now, let's assume that the customer says, well, a major competitor of yours actually gave us a pricing and they are $1,000 lower than your rate. First thing I want to ask the customer is it okay if I take a look at the scope? Because I can guarantee you, since we use exactly similar estimating software, the reason why my price is different from theirs is that I have something in my scope that they do not have. And if we're able to identify what that is, you will let me know if that is important or valuable thing to you for us to do. If not, we'll reconsider. When you compare, majority of the time, they want to show you what the scope is. When you compare the scope, it makes it easy for you to start. It makes it easy for you to now look into what other options you could give. You could give like 5% discount off from the major competitor pricing. We don't compete with Alejandro down the street in terms of pricing. We would never be able to win them in terms of pricing. So in situations like that, we let them take the lead. But when it's a major competitor, we let them know what we offer. And we don't compete with anybody that doesn't use Xactimate pricing or that doesn't use mobile claim pricing. So if somebody is just writing pricing on a piece of paper or sending you an Excel sheet to say this is the cost of doing the job, I just tell you there is no way we can compete with them because I know that you're going to face difficulties working with the insurance company to get you paid. However, if it's going to be a competitor that uses Xactimate, that's a major competitor, we can sit with them, we agree on the price term, we give them an offer that would make them or help them convert. And finally, we are always there at the job site ready to start. Every of the PM that goes out to the job site goes out with at least one dehumidifier, even if you're not going to go with any other equipment, at least one dehumidifier. So when you get out there, as soon as the customer signs service authorization, we deploy a dehumidifier and then we call the crew and let the customer know that in the next 20 to 30 minutes, additional equipment will be deployed, demolition will get started, XYZ it's going to happen, and then we'll put the customer's mind at ease. So rather than for me to continue to go, I would like to open the session to questions, answers, and whatever it is that you guys might have in order for us to continue our conversation as regards to how to eventually close the sale when you get out to the customer's job site.
All right. Thank you, Sadiq. I think we have a whole about 40, 50 people on the call. So please, if you have questions, if you've put them on the chat, that's fine. But if you want to speak up, maybe turn on your camera and ask directly. We have also created an opportunity for our guests to also maybe turn on their camera and their microphone to ask questions one-on-one to Sadiq on the call. Please just raise hands and we can take it one after the other.
Yeah, so I'll just keep going while we're waiting for, people with questions. So it doesn't just seem as if, we're just mute and just waiting. But if you have questions, please go ahead. If you don't want to turn on your audio, you can actually just leave a chat of the question and we'll be more than glad to answer that question. But today, what we're talking is about how to eventually close a digital sale in this situation. Now, this is what we're beginning to see in the industry. A lot of things are I got a call a few days ago and the person said, hey, Sadiq, I know of somebody who had been in this industry for 30 years and, digital marketing doesn't work and stuff like that. And I flipped. I typically don't, I typically would just let the person talk and make whatever decision they think it's fair for them to make. But I flipped in this situation. And the reason why I flipped was I was looking at that person and I was very surprised because the person is alluding to what's going on 30 years ago and the people of that generation. The people of this generation are completely different. These people in this generation, they make decisions that would help their business very, very easily. And so, or that would help them very, very easily. So majority of the time, somebody is picking up their phone and then just calling the claims department or calling whoever is going to help them or do whatever. In fact, a lot of us, even for me, even though I'm not, in this particular generation, even for me, I don't even know who my insurance agent is. If I have a claim damage now, if I have a damage now, I'm going to have to go online and search. In fact, I don't even remember. I don't even know what claim. I have to go and search what's the claims number of this particular insurance company so I can make a phone call to that company. Not to talk of the people in this generation where if you want to buy a new insurance policy, you go online, you type in, cheapest residential insurance or home insurance or mortgage insurance around, and then you see a portal comes up, you fill in your information. That information just gives you a list of 20 different insurance companies and gives you prices that each of those insurance companies is looking for. And you just click on the cheapest and then you go from there. It has changed a lot in this industry. I just got a question. How do you work around CAPS form, the insurance companies, when the customer doesn't use the TPA and therefore the claim is capped? Good question. Majority of the time is this. For some of you that have been in this industry for a while, a claim that is capped majority of the time. Because if it's basement, if it's backflow, if it is, flawed, that if it is mold, definitely some of these claims actually have a cap. Now, if it is fire, depending on the level of the fire, you also know that this definitely might have a cap. So what we do is you start with the least invasive method that you can actually do based on IICRC standard. You start with stabilization. So you already have equipment out there, you're stabilizing, and then you're getting a claim filed. While you're filing a claim, now you have a claim number. It means that you can have access to who the adjuster is. You can then start talking to the adjuster. Please note, if you do not have a signed SLA with the insurance company, you do not need to abide by SLA. The IICRC standard is the document, the standard, the remediation standard that is put together by the industry. So what that does is this. If eventually you've been able to identify that, okay, this is a backflow, and because it's a backflow, it's capped at $10,000, capped at $15,000, or whatever that cap is, and you've been able to identify, this is when you now start having further conversations with the customer. At this point of stabilization, this is what the cost is. At the next point, this is what it's going to look like. Are you going to be able to pay for this difference? And you start talking to the customer, thereby getting the customer to do that. In my office, we actually provide opportunities for these people to pay over time. If you get to a point where it's capped or the insurance company is not paying for the loss, we actually give you a 6-month payment plan in order for you to be able to make payments towards that. But you don't have to abide by a TPA if your job comes in from digital marketing. Now, unfortunately, if you already signed with a TPA, say for example, it's an all-state job, and you already signed with a TPA like Alacrity for an all-state job, and that job comes in, unfortunately, the Allstate might still have you take the job through Alacrity in order for you to be able to get that done. And by that instance, you have to now go back to SLA and get that done through SLA. Another question is, how can a salesperson effectively present themselves when the customer doesn't fully grasp the extent of the problem, making it challenging for the salesperson to understand? That is a valid question. Now, the idea is this. If the person receiving the call, now I know in this scenario, in your question, the scenario of your question, you probably would have more than one salesperson, right? So maybe the first person that answers the call in the office takes that call, and that is the first salesperson. And the second salesperson is the person at the job site, right? The person taking that call, if the person doesn't really understand the scenario the customer is painting, it's easier to let the customer know that we're going to send someone out to come take a look. In my office, we offer free estimate service. The only time we don't offer free estimate service is when it's mold. Now, mold is also free estimate. We do not promote mold on PPC. We do not promote mold at all. We don't even spend time advertising mold, but it would naturally come. Now, in situations like that, if it's a mold loss, now we charge depending on the situation of the mold. But let's go back to this is water. Because it's free estimate and you're telling the customer that not a problem. It's free estimate. Nobody's going to charge you coming out there. We go out there, we inspect the lot. At that point of loss, it gives the salesperson a better understanding of what they are presenting. And that is where you actually display knowledge. In this industry, knowledge is extremely important. You already understand that this is a category 3. It's fair for you to start explaining to the customer that, unfortunately, there are 3 categories according to the IICRC standard. There is Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3. Your situation is a category 3 loss. In a category 3 loss, these are the possible scenarios that might happen. These are the health situations that you might have to experience if it's not remediated or taken care of immediately. By the time you start letting the customer know or showing the customer that you're knowledgeable in that area that they are concerned about, it gives that customer a better confidence about who you are and the kind of service that you'll be providing to that organization eventually. So there are different ways that you can actually approach it. But if you're talking to a customer and it doesn't seem as if you're getting a better understanding over the phone, deploy somebody. Send somebody out there, let them go inspect. It gives that person a better understanding of what had happened. And it also helps them identify how to fix the problem and, help the customer also see that help is here. And we're definitely here to help you. Okay. So those are still the 2 questions that we have now. So if you guys have additional questions, just jump in and ask questions, or just leave the question on the chat, and then we go from there. I know it's 1 hour into the meeting already, so we still have about, we can leave early, but if you guys still have questions, yes, let's go ahead and take in more questions. So yeah. Now, as I was saying, now we're beginning to also see some insurance companies. We're beginning to see some insurance companies that are much more smaller insurance companies. They've actually changed their methods completely. Some of them are actually using AI tools now. So what that means is this. A customer calls to file for a claim. They don't even send it to a TPA. They don't dispatch an organization or a contractor to go out to do the job. What they do is they tell the customer to send them series of photos, send me photo of, the source of the loss, send me photos of the entire house and all the rest of it. While the customer is sending a photo, they are using an artificial intelligence tool to write the estimate for that job. Now, I know you're going to start asking questions about, how do they get the dimension of the place? How do they get this? How do they get that? And all the rest of it. These things are done through artificial intelligence down to, augmented reality. I mean, there are different ways that the company would be able to get the dimension of the building. Now, once that dimension is put into effect, if it's a category 3, they write the estimate for a category 3. They send a check to the customer and tell the customer that contact any restoration company. They will let us know if this check is not enough. We're beginning to see that, and that is going to continue to increase. These are newer insurance companies. Their cost per policy is very low. They don't have populations. They don't have offices. Their customer service is outsourced. I mean, they've done different things to make the insurance policy low, and so therefore all their process is actually low. They don't have to deal with a TPA. They just send a check, and then when you now come back, and if you as a contractor goes back and then you send them the estimate for that job, if the estimate is more, they send it to a reviewer. They could send it to a TPA like AccuServe, who have a reviewing division, and AccuServe would only review the estimate. They are not doing anything else. They just review the estimate and let them know, this person is overbilling or underbilling or whatever that situation is. But then they send it to a company like AccuServe or any other reviewing company to be able to help them review it. If you think that in today's world that is going to stop, that's not true. Artificial intelligence has come to stay. And people are going to continue to utilize it, and they will continue to maximize it. So where I'm going to is this. The people of this younger generation will continue to maximize the use of that. And those insurance companies will continue to save costs by using artificial intelligence to write those estimates and sending a check over directly to the customer and let the customer deal with it. If that continues, if that trend continues to go high, you would continue to see that majority of your customers or majority of the customers, the insured with a loss, would rather go to the internet to look for a company rather than going through a TPA because they don't even know who that is. We only know them because they are in the organization. Yes, okay. I can see Tolulope raising up her hands. Yes, go ahead, Tolu.
Okay, Sadiq, Tolu, can you go ahead?
Sorry, it was error. Sorry.
Okay. Sadiq, I got a question. I think one of the questions that came in before the webinar started, and this question is around using answering services. So a whole lot of franchise owners or business owners, they get digital marketing leads, nobody take the call, they're using an answering service. Can you just shed more light in that area? What would you recommend business owners do?
Yeah, Michael, thanks. That's whoever asked that question. I think it's a teething problem in the restoration industry today. This is what we've seen. We were using an answering service before, and so there is this cycle that happens in the restoration industry. You could be very slow at this point, then it could get very busy. And you cannot put your digital marketing budget on a service that you are not 100% sure if they are always going to be there. Remember, for every call that you take, you're probably spending $200 to $250. If it's PPC, now, on Google Local Services, it is lower. You can actually get it as low as $100, depending on how much your budget level is. But still, it's money. If you miss that call or nobody answers that call because they are busy, it affects your business. Now, this is what I would tell you that I saw. There was a period where we got 4 calls on a weekend, on a Saturday. The answering service didn't take the call. But I kept on seeing missed calls on our VoIP system or phone system. So I tried calling the answering service myself or calling my office myself to know if somebody would even take my call. I tried 8 times before somebody took my call. 8 times. And I said, dude, I'm the owner of the business and my phone has been ringing and nobody answered the call. And the person said, oh, I am so sorry. There is a disaster going on in Detroit. And so we all are just focused on responding to Detroit. And so we started dropping balls in this area. And in my head, I was like, oh my God. This is the first time I dedicated my time to even try to call the answering service. And this is what I'm hearing. What has happened in that situation is that 4 calls it's equivalent to $1,000 in terms of cost per conversion. But then I have also lost the possibility of going out there to be able to do the job. How many calls have I lost in the process of using the answering service? That's number one. Number two, one of my PMs walked into my office yesterday and just brought a document and dropped it down and said, Sadiq, I don't know why All Talent is not doing answering service because this is our biggest challenge. He listened to a call from an answering service person and completely realized that that person doesn't even have a clue of what the restoration industry is, what's going on in the restoration industry. Because the customer kept on asking questions concerning the damage. This person kept on saying, oh, just hold on, I'm going to patch the call through. And the customer kept on saying, before you patch this call, can you please just let me know how to attend to this situation? And the person couldn't. And so the person forcefully patched the call. Now, even though he patched the call, the phone was ringing, the first person who was supposed to take the call did not take the call. And yet the customer is still looking for an answer to that particular question. So this is what we did in our office. And for those that are using answering service and the answering service is working, that's awesome. We outsource ours to All Talent. We have employees that would take our call and then just patch the call. They're not patching the call to a business owners like me anymore, the way an answering service will. They answer the call, they would put the call in any of your CRM software that you use. So for example, is Dash. They would go into Dash and put the notes in Dash. Then they would call the technician and assign the job to the actual technician who is on call for that day. And they would follow up with the customer, knowing that they also have knowledge about what is going on in the organization. They can see when you're busy. They know our schedule. They can see when they can schedule and all the rest of it. It puts the customer's mind at rest majority of the time. So situations like that, that is what we do in our organization. Now, I am not saying that there are no answering services that are very effective. I am just saying that at times it is not what you losing. At times it's not what you losing that customer over that, most especially when there is that upside in the organization. A perfect example would be this period where there is hurricane in Texas. You would see that your answering service would definitely be dropping the balls in your local area because their focus had been trying to take those calls and answer customers in Texas.
All right. Thank you so much, Sadiq, for that question. And for our guests in this webinar, we are in the question and answer session. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put on around digital marketing and how to close any leads that come through digital. Please put it on the chat box, or you can unmute your microphone and speak about your question if you want to just share that with us on a one-on-one basis. We'll be wrapping up in the next 14 to 15 minutes. So we still have some time to take additional questions. Yeah. While we're waiting for people to share their questions with us, I'm looking through the chat. There was also another question that I got from a business owner that said, what is the recommended budget around digital marketing that an average business owner should spend in order to see results?
Michael, that is I get to hear that question a lot. And this is it. So prior to now, the restoration industry is not as, I can tell you, 5 years ago, the restoration industry is not this busy, right? But then the restoration industry got busier and the digital marketing space got saturated about 2 to 3 years ago, about 2 years ago now, and it's getting worse by the day. Now, those people that are not able to afford traditional marketers or traditional salespeople, we take their budget and put it on digital marketing. And this is what you get to see. If you do a budget dump in digital marketing, you would fail. So what that means is this. If you decide today to say, I want to do digital marketing, and my budget on digital marketing is $500,000 for the year because I want to capture the entire market, that is a budget dump. Once you dump $500,000 in digital marketing, you would fail. However, if you do a phased budget, which means that you start and say, my goal is to generate XYZ revenue in 5 years. This is where I'm going to start. You can actually start your digital marketing budget with as low as $1,500 a month. And if I mean digital marketing budget, I mean your money that you pay to PPC. Now, I do not have a limit on GLS, on Google Local Services, okay, or Google Guaranteed, as the case may be. The reason is that is a guaranteed job, right? Whoever is calling you that is looking for something else, they would not charge. But whoever is calling you and looking for water damage, the possibility of you even closing that job is much more higher than if it's PPC. So in situations like that, I don't have a budget limit on GLS. However, for PPC, I have a budget limit. And my recommendation is if you start with $1,500 a month, that puts you at about $18,000 to $20,000 at the end of the year. What that would do is you can build your traction from the beginning. And for those people that would call and say, well, I did 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, I didn't get a call, so therefore this is a waste of my money, and you quit, what you've done is you actually left when the algorithm is understanding what is going on the digital marketing space. I say this all the time. No one is sitting at the back of Google to say, oh, this person has paid Google budget, and so therefore I'm going to position this person first. No, it is done based on algorithm on a rotational basis. It is actually rotated based on everybody's budget. The only time you would see people showing up more than you will see yourself showing up on ads is when their budget is way more than yours. And please note, there are people that I know personally that spend over $500,000 on digital marketing ads a year, only in the restoration industry. I'm not even talking about multi-billion dollars industry. I'm talking about in the restoration industry, and they are killing it. And the reason is not far-fetched. Again, I'm not telling anyone here to go ahead and spend 500,000. I'm saying that you could start with 1,500 and grow the process alongside. But the most important thing is you're growing your business in phases. You're starting from a place and then you're seeing that traction grow. Out of that 1,500, maybe you were able to bring in about, 7 calls that month. And out of that 7 calls that you brought in, you were able to, in my office, you're mandated, every PM is mandated to close 70% of the jobs that comes in. You were able to close 5. It means that you've spent $1,500 on the ads and you closed 5, which puts you at about $30,000 for that particular month. And then you take out of that budget, you put back into the new month, and then you continue to grow. Now, please note, the first, second, and third month, you might not even get anything, but it's a phase for you to get started and to start growing. But by the time you start growing and Google starts saying the frequency, then the volume of calls that comes to your office continues to increase with increased in budget. And that's how you continue to increase your budget. So you can start with 1,500. But when I started with $2,000 and current a month, that's $24,000 a year. Yes. But currently I spend about $10,000 to $12,000 a month is what we spend on digital marketing on a monthly basis. Again, we started from $2,000 about 4 years ago, and then we're at about $10,000 to $12,000 now. And the reason why we're that high in terms of the amount that we spend is because we're seeing the growth platform. And so we just continue to increase our budget year over year. But we stay consistent. Every year, there is a certain yearly budget that is assigned to digital marketing effort. And that's what we continue to push. Thanks for that question, Michael.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sadiq, for answering those questions. So as we plan to wrap up, do we have any final questions around digital marketing? Is your business experiencing maybe some slow growth? How can digital marketing help you change or turn around that narrative or transform things within your business structure? Please would be happy if you want to ask any questions around how can digital marketing actually turn things around for your business? If you have any questions around that, we've talked about traditional marketing, door-to-door marketing, and Sadiq, I don't know if you want to talk about the commercial marketing part of it. Is there any strong value digital marketing can even bring in the commercial space?
Absolutely. Some of the biggest commercial jobs that we've had in our office have come in through digital marketing. Some of them are coming through digital marketing. And what we've seen so far is, so far so good. We've actually seen that the ratio of commercial jobs through digital marketing and residential job is around the rate of 70-30 or 80-20. 30% of it being commercial, 70% of it being residential. You will get a lot more on the residential side than you will get more on the commercial side. And that is why in our office, we only have a commercial marketing manager. So we don't have any salesperson going from one agent to another agent doing sales, but we have somebody who is focused on looking for commercial jobs, and the majority of the rest are more on the residential side. Okay. So Peter just asked a question. Thank you, Sadiq, for this meeting. Hey, it's usually based upon the caller's agreement to pay for the inspection fee, whether mode or water, or out of 10 times, callers are always chicken out because of the fee, even after explaining that the fee will be built into the estimate if they choose to proceed. So, Peter, thanks for the question. Like I said, in my office, I do not advertise mode. Mode will naturally come. But if we get a call for mode, we go out to inspect. We only would charge if we're climbing into the attic or we're going into the crawl space. If you advertise mode, you would always get mode. Every day, morning, afternoon, evening, night, you're always getting a mode call. Because everybody, once they see a small speck on their wall, they say it's mode, and they call you. So you're going to just be running around just chasing mode. So we do not advertise mode at all. But when it naturally comes to our office, and I can tell you this categorically, about maybe 2.5 to 5% of our business is mode. So when it comes naturally, we send somebody out there to go inspect the mode. But if we charge for crawl space, so we charge for crawl space, we charge for attic, we charge for if your basement is not that tall and we have to, maneuver and stuff like that. We charge for situations like that. And we also charge if you want an air test done. So if you want to test for mold spores in the air, or you want a sample taken to the lab and every of those things, we will definitely charge you. And we don't care about what you say at that point. But if you're just looking for somebody to come out for inspection, we do not charge for inspection at all. So that saves us in that area. But if we're charging you in these areas where we charge, we also let you know that it's going to be baked into the overall estimate should you decide to go with our organization. And I can tell you categorically, we have people that pay, because that's the only thing that we charge for. So there is no need for a back and forth or conversations when we know that they might not be interested in paying for such service.
Okay. Thank you, Peter, for that question. I believe the explanation was sufficient enough or has done justice to your question. All right. I think before we wrap up the question and answer session within the next 2 minutes, is there still any other question from anyone in the house? You can drop it in the chat, then we can take it quickly.
Yeah. So, Micah, I think there is a survey at the end. So let's not.
Yeah, we'll not forget that.
Yes.
So Sadiq, I think you can just give us your final wrap-up points for digital marketing, more like a summation of everything you've said today, and what are your key recommendations for business owners on how to really manage the digital marketing experience and close the leads that come into their business.
Okay, thanks, Michael. And before I go, I just got a question from Debbie. Debbie said, so you do not charge for estimates? No, Debbie, we actually do not charge for estimates in my office. We provide free estimate services. So long as it's water and fire, it's free estimate. We trust our confidence to be able to close that sale. And that is why our PMs are mandated to close a minimum of 70% of any job that they go out to inspect. And that has really, really helped our volume overall. So we personally do not charge for estimates at all, again, except for mode. Mode is the only time we ever charge for an estimate, and that's if we're going into the attic or into the crawl space, or if you want a test sample done. Those are the times that we charge for estimate. Other than those times, we do not charge for estimate at all. And Michael, just to be able to wrap that up, this is what I would say. This industry is changing at a very fast pace, and it would not stop changing. It will continue to change. The TPAs will continue to build their efforts in continue to gain the insurance companies' overview and trying to get them on board. But digital marketing is a new tool that has come to stay. If you are a business owner and you know how to use digital marketing, by all means, go ahead and do it. If you do not know how to do digital marketing, or it's because even though I say by all means, go ahead and do it, it is extremely time consuming because of all this change in algorithm that might happen between a twinkle of an eye, because it might be working perfectly today. Algorithm changes tomorrow and you have to catch up with that algorithm. If you do not use a digital marketing organization to do digital marketing and you do not understand digital marketing, please feel free to contact All Talent. All Talent is an outsourcing firm that a digital marketing service is extremely affordable. And all we provide overall is ensuring that we have anybody that is assigned to you handles all the tools that you need in the digital marketing space. So we do not charge, we do not say, no, we don't do social media, we don't do this, we don't do PPC, we are not limited. We do everything encompassing. Yes, thanks, Michael, for bringing up the slide, from social media to SEO to PPC, email advertising and email marketing. We do content marketing. We do, video marketing. We do, influencer marketing is actually not, something that you can easily use in this industry. But if the requirement is there and you see a need to be able to do influential marketing, that is also something. So what I'm going to say to round this up is, this is a tool that can help you grow your business into a multi-million-dollar business within a very, very short period of time. And we've seen that happen over and over again with different organizations. So thanks, everyone. Thanks for taking out time from your busy schedule to be here. Please go ahead and give a review to the webinar. There is just a short survey. It's like 3 questions that you can just complete. And thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. Please fill our survey. Just scan our QR code and fill the survey. We'll take the feedback. We look forward to welcoming you to another month where we're going to be sharing some insightful topic that will help business owners on how to close their sales leads. It's a very exciting, and we also want to thank all our speakers today, Samuel Akingbade, head of marketing, and also Sadiq Isu, the founder and CEO of All Talent, for all the insights that has been shared today. We really appreciate you joining us in this webinar session. It's been our first one, and we thank you all for the success of it. Thanks for all our team members that also contributed to the success of this webinar, from the planning to the coordination, moderation, and even to the post-event feedback. The slides will also be shared with all our attendees today. And we'll also share a link to the recording of the webinar. I know somebody asked about the webinar recording in the chat. So the link will be shared. Just expect an email from us within the next 48 hours. An email will come to you with the webinar recording and the slides for today, and any other useful information, and also more information about All Talent. Like Sadiq said, we're an outsourcing company. We provide digital marketing service, either full-time or also part-time digital marketers, or our agency, we call it our agency service, where we can help your business carry out all the digital marketing strategies and all the tools which we've highlighted in this presentation, and even much more than that, and monitor your digital marketing, help you see results, and help you grow your business, being part of your team to help you grow your business at the end of the day through digital marketing. We also want to appreciate everyone that referred or recommended their friends, their colleagues, or helped us in spreading the word about this webinar. We want to thank you. We appreciate your efforts for helping us spread the word out there to people that attended today. We appreciate your efforts for the referrals and recommendations to this webinar. And we'll close the curtains here. Thank you for everyone that joined once again. We appreciate you. See you another time next month, where we'll be sharing another insightful topic about business operations and how All Talents, or how we'll be bringing very exciting speakers on this journey. Our website is All Talents, www.alltalents.com. You can see all the information you need about there, our management team, all the kind of services we provide, from customer service to digital marketing, to estimators, full-time estimators. We have all of those service. Also, we have administrative staff, telemarketing, accountants, if you need a CPA to manage your books. All of that information is on our website. Simply just go right there. Or you can request to schedule a meeting with me. I also have my Calendly link. I'm the business development person in-house. So I could have a meeting with you and know what problem your business is facing at this point in time. And we can look at this sort of preferred solutions which All Talents would help your business. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy your lunchtime, and we wish you the very best.